The $30,000 Bequest is a short story written by Mark Twain, also known as Samuel Langhorne Clemens, and first published in 1906. This satirical narrative offers a humorous critique of human nature, particularly the relentless pursuit of wealth and social status. The story is narrated by a character named Edward Richards, a man who works as a clerk at a dry goods store. Edward and his wife, Mary, live a modest and contented life, but they become increasingly preoccupied with the desire for social recognition and financial success. They are particularly envious of their neighbors, the Lathrops, who have recently come into a significant inheritance of $30,000. As Edward and Mary attend social gatherings and interact with their neighbors, they feel the pressure to keep up appearances and appear wealthier than they are. This desire for social status leads them to make various extravagant purchases, such as new clothing, furniture, and even a grand piano. They also host elaborate dinner parties and entertain guests in an attempt to impress their neighbors. Despite their efforts to project an image of prosperity, Edward and Mary are aware of their precarious financial situation. They have incurred significant debt as a result of their extravagant spending, and they struggle to maintain the facade of affluence. They are also plagued by guilt and anxiety over their financial irresponsibility. One day, Mary receives a letter from her estranged cousin, Mrs. Harriet Beecher Stowe, the famous author of Uncle Tom's Cabin. The letter informs Mary that she is the sole heir to Mrs. Stowe's fortune of $30,000. Mary is overjoyed by the news and shares it with Edward, who is equally ecstatic. They immediately envision a life of luxury and ease, free from financial worries. With the expectation of the inheritance, the couple intensifies their extravagant spending, believing that they will soon be able to pay off their debts and enjoy their newfound wealth. They continue to host lavish parties and accumulate more debt, confident that the money from the inheritance will soon arrive. However, their dreams of financial security and social success are shattered when they receive a second letter from Mrs. Stowe. This letter clarifies that the inheritance is not in the form of money but rather a collection of books, including Mrs. Stowe's works and her late husband's theological books. The estimated value of the books is a mere $10. Edward and Mary are devastated by the news, as their grandiose plans for wealth and status are now reduced to a collection of books. They are forced to confront the consequences of their reckless spending and their inability to manage their finances responsibly. The story concludes with Edward and Mary realizing the foolishness of their pursuits and the emptiness of their materialistic desires. They reflect on the absurdity of their actions and the irony of their situation. Despite their initial disappointment, they come to appreciate the value of the books and the knowledge they contain. The $30,000 Bequest is a satirical commentary on the human tendency to prioritize wealth and social status over more meaningful pursuits. Mark Twain uses humor and irony to highlight the absurdity of Edward and Mary's relentless pursuit of material success, as well as their misguided priorities. The story also explores themes of greed, financial irresponsibility, and the consequences of living beyond one's means. Edward and Mary's extravagant spending and accumulation of debt serve as cautionary examples of the pitfalls of materialism. In addition to its satirical elements, the story offers a critique of societal pressures and the influence of neighbors and social circles on individuals' behavior and desires. Edward and Mary's desire to keep up with their neighbors and gain social recognition ultimately leads them down a path of financial ruin and disappointment. The $30,000 Bequest serves as a humorous and thought-provoking exploration of human nature and the quest for wealth and social status, reminding readers of the importance of responsible financial management and the value of more meaningful pursuits beyond material possessions.